guys, and welcome to what I think is my first ever car chat Q&A, because obviously I've done a lot of Q&As before. I've talked to you guys in the car before, but I've never done a dedicated, like, let's just chillax in our cars / you guys are probably not even sitting in your car right now, but I just thought we really need to catch up. There are a lot of, I don't know, just like a lot of things. I haven't done a sit-down Q&A in a long time, and a lot has changed. A lot is currently changing. There's a lot.
I had a feeling you'd come back and save me.
As always, I got all these questions on Instagram. I just screenshotted a bunch of them, a bunch of things that I feel like were recurring questions, starting with probably one of my most popular questions: do you wish you kept traveling? And then what other places were you planning to visit? The answer is, I mean, yes, like in an ideal world, we would have kept traveling. That was the plan, for us to travel for a year up until our wedding. It was all set in stone, but in an ideal world, Zach wouldn't be sick. Zach would be healthy, and that's what it came down to. We couldn't keep traveling. We couldn't keep getting new doctors in each city. Like, it was a plan we made before Zach got this mystery illness, which as we speak, Zach is getting, I think, a bone scan. He's getting something. He has doctors all this week, and it's just, we didn't see that coming. So in an ideal world, Zach and I would have been healthy, and we would have been traveling, and oh, this is awkward. Please don't judge me. I'm at a random park, so I feel like people that walk by are like, what the heck is this girl doing? But whatever. But yeah, we plan to go west. The reason we didn't go west to begin with is because we had to make it back to New York for Christmas. So we wanted to stay on the East Coast. We were gonna go back to New York for Christmas and then start heading west. Cities we wanted to visit included Austin / Dallas. I was leaning toward Austin, but Texas. I really want to see Texas. We also were gonna go to San Diego, possibly Los Angeles, Denver, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona, possibly Salt Lake. I mean, we had all of these plans, but things happened, and here's the thing, like, so I say yes, like in an ideal world we would have kept traveling. I'm not sad about it though, because I know some people feel like some type of way about this, but I just truly think everything happens for a reason, and we were not meant to keep traveling. And you guys know we were actually going to just up and move to St. Petersburg, Florida. The last time I did a Q&A, that was the plan, but something about it just didn't feel right. I literally can't explain it other than saying that. And as of now, our plan is to move back to Cincinnati, which feels, I think for some people on the outside looking in, that might seem boring or like, oh man, that's not an adventure, but that's what I'm craving right now. That is what I am so excited for. There are so many pros of traveling, obviously a new adventure, seeing new places, it's exciting, but there are so many pros to just living in a city where you have so many friends and family members, and I'm excited for this phase of life, and truly the only thing I want is for Zach to get better. Like, that's all I want. So we'll see. And here's the thing, we definitely plan on doing traveling. Like, once we settle down in Cincinnati, we still plan on visiting all of these places. We just won't be living there, which pros and cons to both, but I definitely need to see the west part of the United States, because the farthest west I've gone is like here, like Nashville, Ohio. Like, I've never gone farther west, so I'm excited. If you can choose any other profession, what would that be and why? So I was actually just talking to, I think, my brother the other day, my brother, about how I've never had a typical corporate job. I don't consider reporting to be corporate. Like, it's just so different. It's me running around doing crazy things, or obviously some of the more serious things like going to fires and shootings, but I've never had a job where I go into the office and I work a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5, whatever it might be. So I have been curious about what that would like, and the thing is, like, I do think in my head I romanticize that part of life. Like, do I really think waking up each morning and going to an 8 to 5 every day is going to be like, I'm so excited to go into the office? No. In my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that kind of sounds fun. And I need to, like, take a step back and be like, Clancy, you're definitely romanticizing the situation, but I still think it would be really interesting and fun. I mean, fun, that's a weird word, it's work, but I think it'd be a cool adventure to try to do something in either the social media realm or marketing realm, separate from who I am. Obviously, I do social media online, but I think it's kind of fun to, like, take myself out of it. I've always thought editing other people is more interesting than editing myself, because I'm me. I'm not that interesting to myself. You know, I'm going to go home, for example, and edit this vlog. I know what I said, though. It's really fun for me when I edit Zach, for example, and I'm like, what's he going to say next? And, like, I do different things. I don't know. Like, so I think it'd be really interesting to do something very similar to what I'm doing now. And by the way, no matter what, I'll always have my YouTube channel. I'm just talking about adding something the same way I did when I was reporting. And I just think it'd be fun doing that for someone or something else. And I don't know what that is. I mentioned months ago, maybe in like November or December, that I have been softly looking at jobs on LinkedIn and Indeed and just seeing, does anything pop up that interests me? And so far, I mean, honestly, I've seen some that are kind of interesting, but just the timing's not right. This is something I wouldn't do until after the wedding, just because it's all a lot. I feel like there's just a lot going on right now, but it definitely is something I would consider in the future, a normal job. Someone asked, how has your sleep been? Because if you've been following the vlogs, you know I've been struggling so much with sleep. It's one of those things where when your sleep's great, you don't even think twice about it, but as soon as you have any issues falling asleep or dealing with insomnia, it controls your whole life. It's very easy to take for granted, and I have been getting more sleep. So it has been improving. I think the biggest thing is just tackling like my mind. Clearly, like I hate overusing this word because I feel like everyone uses it, but it's so relevant in all of our lives. Anxiety, I think that's a huge factor in sleep. And so I've just really been journaling and doing everything I can to just like dump my mind, like make sure like there's nothing lingering in my mind, get it all out there. So maybe this vlog, maybe this Q&A can even help. Who is leaf blowing? All right, I moved to a different part of the park due to a leaf blowing situation. The guy was actually so sweet, but if your hours were better, would you have considered staying in news? That's a juicy question. Honestly, the hours are really what made my soul crumble. Like I really wanted to know what it was like to actually get 8 hours of sleep a night consecutively and to not feel sick all the time, to not have weekends. Like when weekends hit and I tried to adapt and go to bed at normal times, it felt like I was living in like a bubble. Like I couldn't, just very weird feeling. Like I didn't feel like a human. And so that was one of the biggest factors. But with that being said, there were many parts of the job that just did not excite me in a way that they should have. It had to be something I absolutely loved. I always said that. The reason I can wake up so early and do this crazy job is because I love it. And then over time, it became less exciting. And on top of that, it was just stressful in general. It's just every single day to have to come up with a story. And a lot of times it's negative. A lot of times it was positive because I was on the morning shift, which is like the happiest shift you could be on. But it definitely wore me down. Like I feel like if I was sitting on the couch with Zach on a Wednesday night, I couldn't even enjoy the TV show or movie or whatever we were watching. I was constantly scrolling. All right, what's a story idea for Thursday or Friday or Monday? Like it just was always so, I don't know, go to the next thing. So there were parts of the job I absolutely loved, but there were parts that I didn't love so much. And here's the thing, if you were to take my same exact job and put it as like an 8 to 5 or more normal hours, that would be heaven. But that just doesn't exist because the dayside shift in news is not like the morning shift at all. One day, maybe like that could happen if they create a new show somewhere or something like that. You never know, but I'm not willing to wake up at 2 a.m. I'm not. When did you know Zach was the one? And I seriously, I mean, here's the thing. You never know if someone's the one. You might think like, oh my gosh, I like this person so much, but you don't actually know they're the one. However, from the second I met him, I was just like we need to keep seeing each other. Like seriously, it was the second. I was like, what? Because I think I was just surprised by what he looks like because I hadn't seen him before. And I only saw just a couple of photos that I feel like were not the most flattering. Like they were fine, but in person, I was just like, what the heck? And so, yeah, I mean, immediately I was drawn to him. And then driving home from our first date, I was just like, this is definitely not good. I remember thinking that, not that it wasn't good, but I was like, why do I like him so much? I'm not trying to necessarily get in a relationship right now. What do you like most about being a full-time content creator? Biggest thing is the flexibility. Even just knowing I could fly home to New York right now if I wanted to is so comforting because when I was in news, we only got however many, like 10 days off a year. And it was really hard to like manage my schedule, especially living so far away from my family and just having such a rigid schedule. And then obviously creating the content, like not feeling so rushed when editing. I hate feeling rushed with that because it's so easy to make mistakes. I've made many editing mistakes before, just leaving in clips that were supposed to be deleted or text on the screen that shouldn't be there, random things because I was so rushed to get out content in the little amount of free time I had. So it's really cool that this is my job, and then I actually get free time. I used to not know what free time was because I had job and then YouTube was my free time. Now I have YouTube and I have free time. It's a crazy concept. What are your must-haves for your new home? This is a good one. You guys know Zach and I are currently house hunting, and I feel like I have just a couple of must-haves. Like if this is not in the home, we cannot purchase it. And then many, it would be nice to have, but if we can't get that, A, it's okay, or B, maybe we can change it. So really, I would say I only have two must-haves. One is that there has to be a lot of natural light. There has to be big windows, or if not big windows, just a lot of windows. Like I need natural light. It makes me so happy. And when I look back on when we were in Charlotte, staying at that Airbnb, it was a very dark Airbnb. The way it was set up, like there were windows, but there were trees blocking any of the natural light that would have come in. And like I'd come home from the gym or from wherever and just feel like down. Like I love getting up in the morning or coming home and just bright. So I need it to be bright. And then really the only huge thing, privacy. And what I mean by that is I don't want to be in my living room or my bedroom or wherever, my kitchen, and the windows, like the blinds or curtains or whatever, to be open because I really don't like using them, and then to have my neighbors stare right into my house. Like I want the house, and this is kind of hard, but I just want it to be situated in a way that at least when I'm in the main living areas, no one can see in from their houses. Like I don't like houses that are on top of each other. I know this one's really hard, especially just the way houses are, but I would just absolutely love if I could be sitting in my backyard and I'm not right on top of someone else. As for it would be nice to have list. Ooh, this is where we get good. I mean, one of the big things, I don't want a super old home. I don't want to have to deal with a bunch of things breaking down, or even just like, sometimes there's like a smell in older homes. I don't know. Like I'd rather a turnkey home as opposed to a fixer-upper. Even when it comes to paint colors, that's the easiest thing to fix. I'm just not handy. Like I just don't necessarily want to have to deal with all of that. Changing doorknobs, changing doors. Like I just would rather something that is ready. So something that was built within the past 2 decades. When I say new, I don't mean like brand new, but just within the past 2 decades. That would be great. Zach and I actually don't want a large backyard just because that's just more maintenance, and we're not huge backyard people. I mean, we don't have pets. That's the big thing. I feel like if we had a dog, you'd want this huge fenced in yard. We don't really want that. We really want a patio though. I mean, that's actually on like the requirement list. Some sort of like cute patio where you could put a couple couches, maybe a table, something like that. We also really want dedicated offices. I know that's really hard for both of us to get, just with the amount of bedrooms. The more expensive, but it would be really nice if we could both have dedicated offices since we both do work from home. The kitchen is probably the most important room to me. I really want a big kitchen island. White cabinets, although we have seen many homes where it's like, oh, the kitchen is new and beautiful and the cabinets are brown, and listen, that's fine. But white cabinets are like my favorite thing ever. And then it would be nice if it was within like 30 to 35 minutes of downtown Cincinnati. Do you get annoyed with people constantly asking when you'll have kids? This is funny because a lot of the comments were, when will you have kids? I don't get annoyed. Like, I think it's totally a natural thing people ask. When we were dating, it was, when are you getting engaged? When we got engaged, it was, when are you getting married? Now that we're almost about to be married, when are you having kids? And we really don't have anything set in stone. I mean, Zach's health is also woven into that. Obviously, we just want him to be healthy, and that's like just our number one focus right now, where everything else is just on the back burner. So we really haven't been discussing that, and I just think we're putting all of our focus on his health at the moment. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? That is scary. It's crazy because right now I'm 27, so 5 years ago I was 22. Oh my gosh, 5 years ago I would have been meeting Zach for the first time, which is crazy because it just feels like I blinked. And I'm going to blink again and I'm going to be 28, 29, 30, 32. That's weird to picture myself in my 30s, but I just want to be happy. I want to be doing something that fulfills me, and I'm not even going to pretend to know what that is. And actually, someone asked advice for your 22-year-old self, which is 5 years ago. I would honestly say just stop worrying. Stop. I have always felt like like every scenario is a life or death scenario. Even I have like a folder from 7th grade in which I was putting together like all of my awards and accomplishments and everything like that, trying to get into college. I was in 7th grade, chill out. Obviously that folder never saw the light of day because when you are a senior trying to get into college, you're not showing them the 5th grade writing contest you won. So I really needed to chill on that one. But I've always just been so focused, and I always just think like life is never as serious as we think it is. The people in your life truly are the only thing that matters. And life is just so short. I mean, to be candid, whenever I hear of people who have taken their own lives, I always just think like if they only knew how loved and valuable they are. I think of a lot of instances, especially with college suicides that have popped up in recent years. One of them I spoke about, Maddie. She was a track runner at UPenn, and she felt really overwhelmed by suddenly not being the best at track and not being the best student in school, which a lot of people deal with when they get to college. And she ended up jumping off a parking garage and taking her own life. And it's like, she was beautiful, she was smart, she was so athletic, and somehow that wasn't enough. And it's just, I just wish she knew it was. So I would just tell myself not to take life too seriously. It will all work out. It always does. It will. Switching gears a bit, someone asked, in the future, would you ever want a vacation home? If so, where? And here's the thing, like a part of me thinks it'd be so fun to have a vacation home, but also, do I really want to be tied down to one location? I almost think it'd be more fun to try different places every time I go on vacation instead of, all right, let's go to the vacation home. I don't know, but I think the only scenario I would do a vacation home with Zach is if we were sharing it with another couple, because that'd be super fun to be like, let's go to the vacation home. And obviously it'd be a lot less expensive, but it'd be a great way for us to like all get together, especially because a lot of the people in my life don't live in Cincinnati. So I think that would be so cool and so fun. And that's really the only way I would want a vacation home, I think, because otherwise I'd just rather travel and see new places. Someone asked, physical fitness and healthy eating are important, but what are your thoughts on mental health? And I think it's all tied together. I personally eat as healthy as I can and work out, obviously for the obvious benefits to be physically healthy, but it is so connected to my mental health. If I'm not working out, if I'm eating like crap, I'm just not as happy. So I think it's all connected, and mental health is so, so, so important. And it's crazy because anxiety is one of the most talked about things ever nowadays, right? And yet whenever it hits me, I feel so alone. Like I genuinely feel like I'm the only person who's feeling this. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like it's just me. And yet it's so talked about, but it's just such an isolating feeling. And it's one where you just feel like no one's going to be able to relate, because here's the thing. Chances are the people in your life can't relate to this exact situation you're in right now, but a lot of us can relate to that overall feeling, and it is genuinely one of the worst feelings, like truly. So I just try to live my life in a way that will make me the most happy. I have gotten a lot of questions like, how do you stay motivated to eat healthy? How do you stay motivated to work out so much? It's non-negotiable because I want to be happy, and I have to do everything in my power to make that happen. Do I necessarily want to wake up and go to the gym every single morning? No. But I know that after I go to the gym, I'm going to be so happy. And if I don't go, I'm just not going to be. And I'm talking about, I don't mean every day, I'm talking about within my schedule. So if I tell myself I'm going to work out 5 days a week, and on that 4th day, I don't want to work out, not because I'm injured, not because of something like that, but because I'm just feeling lazy, well, guess what? If I don't go to the gym, it's going to affect my mood. I'm not saying like I'm going to cry about it or it's going to be like an immediate impact. It's more like over time when I start skipping days in the gym, I'm just not as happy. When I start eating not so great, my mood is down. So I just think they're all connected. And for me personally, in order to get my mental health as good as it could be, I need to be working on my physical health and vice versa. So yeah, I think those are all of the questions I'm going to answer for now, which I love doing this every once in a while because a lot of these things are in my own head. So in my head, they're obvious, but I like hearing what you guys want to know, what you guys are curious about, because obviously I talk a lot in my vlogs, but it's cool just to do like a little check-in every once in a while on some of these hot topics. And I know my situation in life is very fluid right now with not knowing a lot of things, not having a very clear trajectory, which has absolutely been adding to my anxiety, but I'm hopeful that things are going to fall into place the way they should. I genuinely am hopeful of that, and I know it because they always have. Even blessings in disguise, like when I don't get my way or when things don't work out, I've seriously always been able to look back and be like, wow, that was why. So I'm hoping the situation I'm currently in will end up being that for me later on. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.